How do I, 34M, tell my wife, 29F, she's too clingy without hurting her feelings? We've been married 5 years and we have 3 children. My wife had such a rough childhood. She's been through unbelievable dark stuff. She experienced sexual, physical, and emotional abuse and neglect. Despite all of this, she turned out amazing. She's strong, funny, reliable, and empathetic. She's gorgeous but doesn't seem to believe it. She has a degree, hobbies, and a social life. She treats our children with love and respect and models good behavior in front of them. She's read about 90 books to get to that point. Only issue for me is she's really clingy. It's been like this from the beginning, but I thought she'd slowly let go and feel secure as the relationship evolved. Didn't happen. She's cool and chill with everyone else but not with me. I love her, but sometimes I don't feel like hugging her 9 times a day. The thing is, because of her past trauma, she's incredibly sensitive to the slightest changes. If I'm stressed at work and forget to tell her I love her for a couple of days, her mood shifts and she gets so hurt. She doesn't take criticism very well and ends up saying she feels like she'll never be good enough. She's in therapy and is dealing with her abandonment issues. But to be honest, sometimes I feel smothered, and she senses that. She pulls away when I get distant and I can see it in her eyes. Breaks her heart. I love her but I need some space. How do I approach this without making her feel like I'm abandoning her? Too long did not read. Wife had an extremely traumatic childhood. She's perfect in every way except she's too clingy with me. I want to tell her I need space without hurting her. I sound very similar to your wife. Try to focus on ways to fill up her tank so that it lasts her a good while. When my boyfriend gives me a good cuddle session in the morning, holds my hand on a walk, comes onto me, flirts with me, I feel less clingy and more securely attached. I can go the rest of the day or 2 without needing constant reassurance. I don't take things personally. This is coming from a place of her wanting to connect with you. Also, explore attachment styles, ASAP. Man, maybe I read this wrong. I'm not overly affectionate myself, but if my so doesn't tell me they love me for a couple days, then I'd assume we're not doing well, haha. I guess maybe go to one of her therapy sessions with her one day. Try to sit her down and communicate with her to find a happy medium. There will come a point in your life in which you would trade anything at all for all that extra love she offered. Life happens so bloody quickly. She sounds worthy. If you don't feel like verbalizing your love, maybe leave cute little post-it notes around the house. It takes 2 seconds and will mean the world to her. Secondly, if you haven't already, consider couples counseling. This may help you both reconcile and work out something that works for both of you. 9 hugs is a lot. It sounds like you don't have a terribly physical relationship and that honestly you're just very comfortable with different amounts. That does not make her clingy. For a lot of people that still wouldn't be enough. Do you know your love languages? Also, I have always told my S.O. in a long-term relationship that I love them basically every day. When I'm leaving for work, before bed. Just pick a time and stick with it. Overall, though, just explain how you would like her to express affection, and try to meet her in the middle without suffering through things you don't enjoy. Question. How often are you the one initiating physical affection? How do you show her that not only are you content to hug her, but you are genuinely excited to be around her? When she asks for attention or affection, do you respond with excitement and love, or do you treat it like a chore? Honestly, posts like this make me not want to get married. I don't feel like hugging her 9 times a day. Really? You even stated that she was like this before you got married and you married her in hopes she would change. This is what you signed up for. She's not necessarily clingy or insecure. She just enjoys physical touch and affection. It's a great feeling if you're into it. Expecting your significant other to tell you they love you at least once a day is not being needy. I'm not saying you don't have a right to say something, I mean it's your body. But I feel like you're really airing out her past trauma and also using it as an excuse. As someone who has dealt with a buttload of mind-violating trauma, I can say that it doesn't make you very clingy and needy and etc. Anyone can be clingy. But here's the thing. You've been with her for how long, dude? Lol, and it's bothering you now. I just find it weird that someone gets uncomfortable with the person they're married to hugging them. Dude, no offense, but it sounds like you are the problem and not your wife. 9 hugs is normal. My so tells me he loves me 10 times a day. We cuddle a lot and we spend all our time together, and even after 4 years I miss him when he isn't near, and it's the same the other way around. Your wife is a warrior mama. And if all it takes to make her happy is to tell her you love her every day and give her some hugs, and that's so much for you, then maybe she deserves better. I'm stuck on the forget to tell her I love her for a few days. That's odd as fuck to me. Next on r_. How can I deal with my husband who can go for days without showing affection? I'm not saying you're really like that. Just that perceptions between two people can be really different. Your best bet is to keep communicating, encourage the therapy process, and recognize that you two will have to hit the middle somewhere. Good luck. You forget to tell your wife you love her for a couple days. 9 hugs is breaking the bank for you. Jesus Christ. You are the issue here. Are you fucking serious? Get a grip, buddy. 9 hugs is too much. Christ, I hug way more than that. She isn't too clingy. Her love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. 9 hugs and saying, I love you, once per day is too much for you. You're just being kind of a dick. Especially for just assuming from the beginning that she'd eventually change. What the fuck, man? 9 hugs a day is too much. And you forget to say, I love you, for multiple days at a time. Sounds more like a you problem than a her problem. You should probably be hugging her and telling her you love her often. She doesn't really sound like she's being unreasonable. 9 hugs is a lot. Going days without saying I love you is normal. How do you forget to say I love you to your spouse? Jesus. Every day on this sub it's another story of a woman having to beg for the absolute bare minimum. Just leave for her sake if you don't want to compromise or consider her needs. It's possible you were normalized to too little affection in your childhood, which is also sort of a form of abuse. My daughter runs up, hugs me, tells me she loves me, asks for nail strokes. Endless affection. This is secure attachment and it feels good. ISMH at how normalized lack of secure containment is uncommon in our society. Yeek. There's nothing wrong with having different emotional needs. You need to communicate. Maybe seek outside professional help. But the thing is if you want her to be a bit emotionally uncomfortable, then you're going to have to be too, to meet her halfway. Alone time in a relationship, especially with kids in the house, is significant other needed. If she's sensitive to this and you don't want to hurt her, maybe sit her down when you are both in a calm, good headspace and just explain to her how much you love her, but for your own mental health you need some more time to yourself. It's valid. And she sounds really sweet. It will probably go over better than you expect. I'm wondering if there isn't another side to this. While it sounds like she's wildly clingy, needing 9 hugs a day, you also say, forget to tell her I love her for a couple days. I mean, damn. Can't you say, I love you, every day to a woman who has had 3 kids in 5 years? You said she's in counseling, but are you in counseling together? You need to be. This is exactly the stuff you work in together in counseling, not on Reddit. This is also possibly just her love language. I'm an incredibly vocal and physical parter. I tell him I love him all the time. I love cuddling and being physically affectionate. Maybe yours isn't the same as hers, but there's nothing wrong with her love language. Maybe it is in part because of her childhood. I'm sure my trauma has caused mine in some way as well. But being in a healthy partnership is respecting each other and how you show love. I don't think it's fair to call her clingy. You said yourself she isn't like this all the time, only when you're alone. If she was clingy, she'd be like this all the time. She just feels comfortable and happy with you and wants to tell you, and justifiably wants you to tell her you love her and that you feel happy and comfortable with her. I'm kind of confused. Everyone's attacking you. Female, struggle with 9 hugs a day. I'm not super affection, didn't grow up in an affectionate household. My significant other, male, is, and sometimes we struggle with this difference, but talking about it is basically what helps, and both making an effort to express we care in ways the other needs. Maybe you could join her in a therapy session to discuss this, or you guys could see a marriage counselor to help facilitate this conversation. Possibly just a conversation about what your love language is and how yours is different, but you want to do your best to show her how much you love her. Sitting down and each doing one of those quizzes together could be a great way to get the convo going. You man the fuck up and love her back. If she needs 10 hugs a day from you, give them to her. Are you gonna die? No lol, and she gave birth to your 3 kids. Affection and reassurance is the least you could do. This may not be what you want to hear, but suck it up. You married her and had multiple kids with her, and after 5 years you want to tell her she's too clingy. Nah. You're too sensitive. Give her 9 hugs a day. Apologize for forgetting to say you love her, and get over yourself. Small price to pay for an otherwise perfect relationship, especially when there's plenty of people who would love and cherish the things she wants. You knew she had these issues and you committed to her anyway. Now you have kids involved. Deal with it. The whole going days without saying, I love you, is not healthy. According to couples counselors, the number of times a couple in a healthy relationship say I love you to each other in one day is 10 times. Sounds like she isn't really clingy. 9 hugs a day isn't a lot and you go days without telling her you love her. What the fuck? You forget to tell her you love her for a couple days. Dude, that should be a reflex in your vocabulary. I think my husband and I say I love you at least 4 times a day. And we've been together 20 years. That's not hard to do. That's like breathing. At least do it at bedtime. Or before you leave. I guess it's because of COVID, but I was wondering if they have 3 kids and he works, how clingy could she get to be? This may be against the rules of this sub, but what the fuck is wrong with you? I get the feeling. I'm a woman with similar issues. Maybe you could set a daily alarm to tell her you love her. Even just a quick text to reassure her. You're doing great, hang in there. You said she goes to therapy, which I'm assuming is just for herself, but are you both going to any kind of couples counseling? Yikes dude, just tell your wife you love her, WTF. Are you kidding me? You're complaining because your wife loves you. Hold those moments, hug her 20 times if she hugs you 9. This is crazy, she loves you and you think it's clingy. Okay, firstly, 9 hugs a day is not that much. Also, multiple days should not go by without saying you love someone you truly love. I think you might need to be in therapy as well. She sounds like she's acknowledging her shortcomings. Have you considered yours? She's your wife, bro. You've been married 5 years and your wife wants to be close to you. You should be down on your knees thanking your lucky stars. Why did you marry this woman? Having a family is hard and you were right in that spot where you were working all day, helping with kids, and things are stressful. I've been there. Now here's how this story can end if you keep it up. After you continue to rebuff her advances, she'll eventually get what she needs from someone else. Then you'll be begging for her to want your attention, but by then it will be far too late. Your wife needs ya man. She's just as tired, stressed, and just needs to know her partner, the man she married, is there to reassure her that everything is okay. Love your wife, man. Be a team. Good luck. I don't think 9 hugs a day and saying I love you multiple times a day is very much at all. It sounds more like you two have different attachment styles. It's not her that's clingy. It's you that's the more distant partner. You have your comfort zone and she has hers. But what you described doesn't sound clingy. Everyone here is acting like a huge douche. You deserve your alone time too. I'm the clingy woman in this situation. And I know that sometimes I can be smothering and it's unhealthy. I can't give much advice besides that your feelings are valid too, and that hopefully therapy will help her. You might have to hurt her feelings a little to help her understand your point of view, but if you're feeling smothered, that's something you ought to be able to talk about. I hugged my boyfriend at least 6 times and told him I loved him no less than 12 times, just in the last few hours. He's never told me I'm clingy or even pulled away. I can't even imagine how your wife feels being rejected like that. It's not like she's asking you to make out, have sex or anything like that. I'm all for bodily autonomy, but for Christ's sake, it sounds like you're the one with the problem. Forget to tell her I love her for a few days, might mess me up too. Every morning and every night remember to tell her that you love her, even if you are stressed. It's not that hard. Maybe schedule an appointment with her and her therapist and just voice how you feel, so the therapist is there to help her understand you and not just break down. Not just tell her you love her every day. And hug her. It means everything to her and takes little effort and little time. What you are describing is not clingy. It seems like you need to stop being selfish and give your wife the affection she's obviously so desperate for. I know a lot of people say, marriage counseling, but this really is the best option for you both. Her seeing her own therapist is great because she can discuss any sessions afterwards on her own. It's important to tackle this now, before any further resentments build. Yes, your wife has been though a lot, but her mental health concerns don't trump your mental health needs either. Just reading these 9 hugs a day is normal. You're the problem op. Shocks me to be honest. Every person has a different need for love and affection. There is nothing wrong with it. People are allowed to have different love languages. The only important thing is to communicate about it properly. If it's not for you, then tell your partner. Maybe go to a therapy session with her, so you can tell her how you feel. That way a professional can help right away and make her understand that you have the right to feel comfortable too. It's not your wife, it's you. Ouch, what's wrong with 9 hugs a day? Your wife deserves better, to be honest.